Skippy is a gun. Skippy also talks to you. Today, Skippy's gonna be talking to me a lot, because Skippy's the only gun I'm gonna be using. So, I start my life the same way all women do. As V, with 2 E's in my case. It's not a joke, that's me. The person, not the character. No relation either. Anyway, I'm Street Kid again, because Nomad makes you use a gun, and Corpo, I hardly know her. A slimy man with no name wants me to steal an awesome car, which probably has a name, but I couldn't even tell you the names of any real cars, let alone this fake one. Maybe it's like Thornwood or something, I don't know. Big Jesus Mordino drives me to the garage where it's being kept, and I jump off a highway into a dumpster where I belong. I use a magic device to hack the car open, but then a big guy with a big gun pulls me out of the car, and then cops come and beat us to death. We lived though, so me and the guy who tried to kill me go to his mom's place for lunch. Some unspecified amount of 6 months later, we're on another job like any other, rescuing a good-as-dead woman from a crack house, or a meth house, or a heroin house, could be any really. When Jackie and I encounter the scavengers who kidnapped her, I try to let him take the lead in combat, because I'm about as useful as Microsoft Copilot. Fuck, I hate Copilot. Anyway, Jackie starts strong, but it all falls apart when he falls down. I didn't even know that could happen. Theoretically, I could keep loading back and hope Jackie gets a perfect run where he wins. But I want this to not take 6.5 years, so I do what I do best. I give up, and I fail to run by shooting and or grenading the scavs. It's gonna be like 3 hours minimum for me before I can actually get Skippy. But as far as I know, this is the only truly essential combat encounter before then. That's actually not true. That's not true. Turns out the good-as-not-dead woman they kidnapped was just taking a bath. You should try it sometime too, dear viewer. All's well that ends, or whatever they say. Jackie drives me home like the gentleman he is, but along the way we get ambushed by the friends of all those guys I've failed to run for. This time, when they pull their guns on me, I just sit there, menacingly staring them down, which really throws them off. My presence alone is so terrifying that they crash into a wall and all of them explode without me having to do anything. Then I go home, say bye to Jack, and have a bit of an EP moment. In the morning, Jackie arranges for me to meet with Dex for a little job. I pet a cat, get my eyes removed, and ignore the meeting with Dex. I have a plan, viewer, but we need money. I'd ask you to give me your share, but then the IRS is gonna want their cut, and I don't know how taxes work. No. I go around stealing money and items from the stash boxes of local criminals. I just run in there, grab the loot, and escape to my car so quickly that usually they don't even have time to consciously realize that they're being robbed. I repeat this process until I have around $20,000 to my name. Then I finally go meet with Dex and zone out until he's done talking. He said something about a robot, something about a woman, something about a different woman, and that we're setting up a heist at the casino. I call up Jackie and get him to meet me at Maelstrom HQ to pick up that robot, a hover drone. When we get there, I call up the cyborgs who say they don't know me. Yeah, no one does, but they let me in anyway. I meet with their second-in-command, Dum Dum, who shows me the robot and I say, yeah, we'll take it. But then the boss of bosses, Royce, pulls a gun on me and, oh, this reminds me of old times, back home. Still, we cut a deal and I hand him $10K of my own hard, stolen dollars for the hover drone, and he lets us walk with it. I don't have much to talk about when it comes to Evelyn, I just wanted to say, if I had a nickel for every time Carla Tessara voiced a lesbian hacker in a game I liked, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't nearly enough. Keep having her voice them.
You look like a cut of fuckable meat, are you?
Jackie and I meet Dex, T-Bug, and Carl at the arcade to talk about the heist. We go in, we steal Clifford's data drives, we get out, we buy a new car. Easy. He sends us off in a no way to the casino, and we get in fine despite my complete lack of social skills. I get an autograph from a celebrity at the bar, then Jackie and I go up to our room and use the hover drone to take out security. Jackie and I then sneak through the casino, pilfer the daily vault, and open up the real vault to steal Cliffy. But then the Duggins show up and we have to hide, and Mini Duggan murders the Emperor. If that wasn't bad enough, Jackie and I were in the vault for so long that the nerve gas went off and nearly killed him. Being in the vault for too long also means that security knows we're here and things go loud once we leave the tunnels. I still can't fight back, so I just dash past them all. We forgot to grab the security passes, so I have to let Jackie take out the guard holding the elevator key. It goes much better than the last time he tried to fight someone, though it's in part because I kept doing my best to soak up as many bullets as possible. I continue to dash through the lobby, then escape into the No Way, who accidentally runs over a bystander. I hoped that the drones chasing us would deal with themselves without my intervention, but no. If I hadn't failed the run earlier, I would have failed it here, because when you reach a certain point, you instantly die. Just like old times. So, I shoot them, notably not with Skippy. When they're gone, the poison gas finally gets to Jackie, who uses his last breaths to shove the Clifford drive into my head. I alone meet with our high-end buyers to report the failure, but they shoot me in the face, and I die. And as Clifford, I join Rogue and a bunch of people who won't be named, and someone else who I forget, in storming the Duggins ranch. I yet again fail the run when I grab a turret and start blasting away at their people. I fail again when we touch down and I start using Cliffy's pistol on them. Maybe Rogue could have taken them all in combat. I don't know. Whatever. She and I split up, then I run off and shoot a few more to get into Duggan's office and hack his computer. His password was IHeartRainbows44, by the way. On my way out, I try to get to the escape helicopter, but Smasher shoots me down just before the place gets orbital lasered, and I get murdered to death by the Duggins. I wake up, the real me, not Cliffy, in the dump where I watch Dex get shot by Goro. Then I pass out, then Goro gives me a loaded gun to shoot more Duggins with. Notably not Skippy. You know, I think I got a few more gray hairs the last time I played this segment. It's not even a joke. I have a bit of hair near the front of my head that's like way lighter than the rest, and it only showed up around the time that I made the one-hit knockout video. There are no coincidences. That video physically changed me. I once again have to fail the run because if I don't shoot back at these guys, they kill Goro. But we get away from them when they're all exploded or crushed. I wake up in the office of my dentist. You know, the one I've mentioned before. I thought this guy died 8 years ago, but I guess he always comes back. He tells me that I need braces and I say, fuck off, I'm American, I can't afford that, then sleep it off instead. In the morning, Goro wants to meet, but fuck that. Now that I'm free, I need my gun, so I start dashing off into the inner city to fetch a pail of Skippy. Finally. Here he is, Skippy! And we're only 3 hours into the playthrough. Nap time is over. I set Skippy to Stone Cold Killer mode, because hell yeah, I'm a Stone Cold Killer. As soon as the conversation's over, my computer becomes unusably slow. That's fun, but I test him out over at a Valentino funeral. Maybe it's bad practice to shoot up a funeral, but look at it this way. They're only gonna need one service. I'll be honest, I really hate smart guns. I always have. They just don't feel good to use to me. When you start making me have to connect via Bluetooth before I start shooting people, you have lost me. But sometimes you've got to put on your big klepto-punk pants and deal with the gun you've been handed. So I reacquaint myself with my hatred for this weapon type by killing like 40 people for little to no reason. Just another Tuesday in LS. With a few dozen more corpses on my rap sheet, I finally go sit down with Takamura to talk about the heist. I secured Cliffy, but now the fucker is stuck in my skull, and I need to get him out before he tries convincing me to nuke the world or something. I've got 3 proposed paths, but I think the most fruitful one right now would be to track down the creator, Avon. I talked to Rogue at I think I might have called it the arcade earlier, Afterlife, about Avon Quartz and his pet Cliffy and pay her half my life savings to track him down, and she tells me to fuck off for a day. I cannot sit still until then, so I go out and visit Judy. We talk in circles when I'd rather be talking in squares, but eventually she gives me a lead and sends me to a club. I guess that's the nice way of putting it. When I get there, they take Skippy away from me, the bastards. I just got him. I find out what I can about Evelyn, but I have to choke some guy out for his VIP pass, but I think that's a run-failing action, so I load back. Instead of that, I crack open a window and climb some pipes to get around security. You would think that they would lock the windows in this place, but what do I know? When I meet Woodman, first of all, I can smell the stench through the screen. Second, I accidentally go down a dialogue path that sends me to combat. So I try again. This time he tells me he sold Evelyn to a kid named Fingers. So Judy and I pay a visit to this Fingers, if that even is his real name, who tells me he also sold Evelyn. Then I beat him and shoot him to death when he calls Judy an animal. I buy some contraband from a suspicious man in an alley, and Judy and I watch it to figure out who stole Ev. A bunch of scavs at a factory. Oh, they are so gonna regret crossing me in a few minutes. Every single piece of shit in that factory is gonna be dead. All of them. By the time I'm done with them, the place is gonna be so red you'd think it was the floor of a hospital. You know, because of color theory. But it's not a hospital, and it's not for color theory. It's a snuff film shooting site, and it's gonna be covered in blood and viscera from the fucking human refuse calling it home. Look, I'm calm. I just really hate these guys. Judy and I find Evelyn once they're all dead, and we get her to Judy's place, where we learn that the Voodoo Boys in Pacifica were the ones who wanted her to steal Clifford. I changed my mind. I'm not calm at all. There's a whole lot of other people responsible for what happened to her, and if and when I see them, they're gonna be dead like all the others. I'm talking about the Tiger Claws, Jotaro Shobo, evil, monstrous human being, if you can even call him human anymore. Everyone in his little nightclub, I filled them with lead, smart lead, Bluetooth integrated lead that fucking kills them to death. Death is too kind for Jotaro, but when he gets to hell he better start hiding, because, I'm not gonna be too far behind him. Look, I'm cool with the Mox, I'm cool with the Valentinos for the most part. I'll even let some of 6th Street slide. But Tiger Claws, Scavs, Maelstrom, all of them could be wiped off the face of the planet for all I care. Ugh, is that Clifford talking or is it still me? In either case, I finally go back to talk with Rogue now that enough bodies have been dropped to satiate my urges. She gives me the intel on Avon's current whereabouts and the whereabouts of Panam, who's gonna help me shoot down his helicopter. Along the way to meet Panam, Skippy and I have a thrilling conversation about my urges.
The fuck is wrong with you? Please go see a therapist, you psycho.
From now on, he's locked me out of Stone Cold Killer mode. What bullshit. Panam and I strike up a deal. I help her steal a car, she helps me steal Avon quartz out of the sky. Our car stealing plans are simple. Set a trap for the guys who stole it from her, then strike. Despite Skippy's insistence on not letting me give in to my urges, it's still very possible to get him to lock onto heads instead of legs. You just kinda have to aim him at a really awkward angle, then you're golden, and the enemy's dead. Not quite the enemy Panam wanted to see dead though. See, her ex-partner, Nash, not here. She wants him dead and I enjoy killing people. It's the simple truth of the matter. So point me in the direction of an enemy, let me point Skippy in that general direction too, and we're both happy. Sort of. I mean, he's still reluctant to kill people, and that reluctance is tiring, to say the least. Like I said, I can still force him to aim for heads, but he really doesn't like it. He much prefers the idea of targeting legs, which isn't really possible when an enemy's in cover, and the awkward angle I have to aim at isn't really easy to maintain mid-combat. I make it work, but man, it's a struggle. When he's dead, Panam and I can finally talk about our Avon problem. It's a simple plan. We just gotta hit them with an amp. But in the process of setting up the amp, I fail to run once again. I have to use Panam's sentry gun on a couple of drones. Can't I just peek out the window with Skippy? We hit Avon's helicopter with the amp, then Panam also hits it with a rocket launcher, bringing it down. More drones get sentry gunned instead of Skippy'd. Real shame. We approach Avon's downed aircraft, but he's gone, leaving only some robots and the pilot. We make chase and encounter some of his clones at the airstrip. They tried taking it over, but we put an end to that. More clones also took over a gas station just down the street, and they've got the real Avon with them, so I jump down and get to work. When you stick Skippy right in someone's face, you don't have to hold him at weird angles to get headshots. I mean, what else does he have to aim at when you jam his fucking barrel down their throats? When all the clones are dead, I find Avon hiding upstairs and bash his teeth in, then grab him and drag him off to question him about Cliffy. I describe how Cliffy keeps trying to get me to destroy the Earth, and swearing at me in Russian when I say I won't. Avon scans my brain and it turns out that I'm basically more Clifford than myself now. Well, that's not good. Then I leave him in the motel while I go make a phone call to Mr. Hands. No relation. Hands is the one person who might be able to get me into contact with the voodoo guys I mentioned earlier. Until he can set up a meet, I go meet Goro by the river instead. Nothing happens at this meeting. So much nothing, in fact, that Goro doesn't even show up for the next part of it. And it breaks, and I go do a bit of off-camera mining, then I go talk to the Voodoo Boys instead. I kill a few of them outside their church so they know that I'm coming. According to standard Christian doctrine, I'm gonna be going to hell for that, but whatever. If I wasn't already headed there, then oh, I'm afraid I've been sold a false bill of goods for the past 10 years. Their second to main guy, Placide, wants me to go to the mall and exterminate some animals. Then I get to talk to his boss about Clifford. The ones outside fell quickly, which gave me the illusion that things were going to be pretty typical in here. But once I'm inside, things don't go nearly as smoothly. I don't ever get killed by any of them, but Skippy just can't do enough damage to kill them as quickly as he used to be able to. Honestly, I think the micro generator implant did more overall damage than Skippy was able to. Like I've said twice, you can still force Skippy to aim for the head, but it's a lot more difficult to do when the enemies you're fighting do more than like 2 damage per shot like the last ones I fought were doing. Maybe it's all the steroids and synth coke these guys were on, I don't know. Either way, eventually I pull through, then have a showdown with Sasquatch. Take everything I just said about Skippy's poor damage output and multiply it by 10. Even against one target, he's just not doing so hot when you find out your goat is washed. It takes, no exaggeration, 500 bullets throughout the fight with Sasquatch to take her out. There's times that she trips over and falls on one knee, and that lets me pour bullets into her face, but even that barely tickled her. If this is what fighting Sasquatch is like, Smasher is going to be a nightmare. Then again, I did kill that loser without taking damage that one time, so maybe he'll be a pushover again. I actually don't know yet, I'm recording this part before I'm done with the playthrough. When she falls again, I make sure she stays down. Then I move on to deal with the Netwatch agent trying to fry my brain. I find him in the theater watching an old western. You know what? I respect that. I like westerns, I like horses, I wear spurs. So I agree to carry his virus for him, then tell him to give Tombstone a shot. It's one of my favorites. Placide is not a fan when I get back to him. He says that Kilmer gave a really phoned-in performance. I punch him in his stupid mouth for even daring to say that shit to my face. Brigitte tells him to let me go, and he's a good little cultist and drops the situation when his leader says so. The two of us talk about Cliffy once Placide's out of our way. She then takes me down to her deep, dark cult hideout and shoves me into a tub of ice. I swear to God, if I wake up and my kidneys are missing, I'm going fucking ballistic on the whole place. They send me to digitized hell and force me to look through Clifford's memories again. I unfortunately saw him in some very compromising positions. That was weird. Then I have to start using a gun other than Skippy on some sewer garbage. They stole Clifford's AI girlfriend from right under his nose, so I, in Clifford's memories, go assemble a team to get her back. Rogue, myself, Santiago, and Carl. Every crew needs a Carl. The Duggins of 2013 come in, stalking me, same as it ever was, and I, once again, can't use Skippy on them. As unfortunate as these constant failures are, it's nice to occasionally get to use a gun that does more than tickle the enemy. I mean, Skippy's a nice gun and all, but being nice doesn't really compensate for taking a full mag to drop a single enemy. I'm really happy to be away from him for a while. Anyway, the 5 of us storm the Duggins ranch years ahead of that other time we do it, to get Clifford's previously mentioned AI girlfriend back. I mentioned it once already, but God, the difference between the Malorian and Skippy is crazy. The Malorian one-taps everything. It fucking one-taps sentry guns. I had to make sure I wasn't playing on easy partway through the ranch. I'd throw the game on hard if it weren't for me going back to Skippy in a few minutes. Sasquatch went down in 500 bullets earlier, and Akira goes down in like 10. Well, not like 10, man. Exactly 10. Sadly, we're too late. Because when we get to Clifford's AI girlfriend, she doesn't wake up no matter what prompt I use. And I punch Carl in the face with the Black Ops 2 knife sound effect. Back in cyber hell, I'm back to being myself. My motion-sick, digitized self. Brigitte sends me through the other side of turbo hell to contact what remains of Clifford's girlfriend. I really miss when I was just robbing gas stations. I don't know what the hell is going on with the Voodoo Boys' whole doomsday scenario. I explained to the nice they, them in the sky that I want Clifford the hell out of my head, and they say that only the Duggins have the tech to do that. Maybe. I get sent back to the real world where, god damn it, I knew it, my kidneys are missing. I'm going fucking ballistic on the whole place. The Voodoo Boys are a doomsday cult ready to sacrifice humanity anyway. I'm not a fan of these guys. The world's better off without them trying to sacrifice us to AI. My duel between rivals with Placide isn't really that thrilling. He sits at the top of a staircase while I sit at the bottom, and we just pour bullets into each other. It's kind of like that one fight in Wolfenstein where you and some Nazi just repeatedly stab each other. I don't know which one it's in. I haven't played any of them. When he's dead, I finally go back to try to meet with Goro again. Remember when he didn't show up? Yeah, he's still not here. I wait around for a while, but he's still a no-show. I try to bite the bullet, maybe load back to some time before I start this quest. Don't have any. I tried looking into a solution online, but I couldn't find any in the 2 Reddit threads I checked. However, there is another option, you know. A little birdie once told me to meet her at the border of Dogtown. She told me that she's the only person who can get Clifford out of my head once and for all. And that's actually starting to look true this time around. But I need to save her first, because the plane of the President of the United fucking States of America is crashing as we speak. You know, I made a joke of a similar vein last time, but you know what they say. Comedy is all about repetition. I do a lot of running, crawling, and jumping around in the walls before finally stepping out into Kurt Hansen's arena, and then out into the fresh air. This is the closest I've gotten to touching grass in 6 days. I keep climbing up and up until I spot the president's plane right before it gets shot down by the colonel's people. Like moneybags from an armored truck, I slide down a drainage pipe to start running after it to save the president. Also, Songbird, I guess. Mostly Songbird. A kind Barghest soldier lets me hitch a ride for a while, but I'm on my own getting past the border patrol. After, I find the president's downed plane, but there's a whole lot of Barghest activity around it. I've done a bit of upgrading for Skippy since fighting the animals. He's still not doing great damage output, but it's tolerable. That, plus the usual power couple of Cloak and Sandy, makes combat a breeze, even though Sandy's not really built for smart guns. And hey, don't forget about the micro generator either. Those explosions are pretty good. All in all, getting to the president isn't too difficult. The way out, slightly more so, because Barghest called in their Titan to finish us off. I have to keep dodging and weaving around, waiting for Micro Generator to be able to put in the work in order to take them all down. At one point I accidentally dashed 12 country miles away, but it's fine. Honestly, any perceived difficulty always makes me circle back to one thing in my head. If I could do it without taking damage, as bad as Skippy is, I'm doing alright for myself. Myers and I start to run for a safe house, but we get spotted by some drones while I was trapped in an animation, so we have to continue to fight through Barghest. Well, you know what they say, if you're gonna fuck up, best to get it out of the way early. Colonel Hansen was bound to track us down anyway. I mean, he's got eyes, ears, and feathers on the inside. When the ones in our way are dead, I just start dashing around on foot instead of stealing the car like I'm meant to. I don't trust myself behind the wheel. I'm not even a licensed driver. Song leads us into some underground tunnels, but we are quickly refound by Barghest. They're all up above us, and as we know, Skippy loves to target legs, so hitting them is so fucking annoying until they finally start jumping down. Then I can get up in their faces and stuff, no problem. Song also hacks this big tank thing to fight on our side, but once all the enemies are dead, she loses control and the thing starts attacking us instead. Thank you, Song. It chases us through the building before we all fall further down, and the president and I have to face it head on. Thankfully, Skippy does actually target the weak points for me instead of desperately trying to be non-lethal against this thing. But it still takes me about 10 minutes worth of dashing around and mag dumping this shitbot. It wasn't even particularly difficult, just time consuming really. I don't come close to dying or have any fear of dying throughout the entire fight. It's just a seemingly endless amount of shooting the bad guys until eventually it comes crashing down and I finish it off by ripping out its batteries. Lights, and I can't stress this enough, out, fucker. Further through the tunnels, we find our safe house graciously marked with yellow paint, and we spend the night in this dusty, roach-filled apartment. Then in the morning, she sends me after an agent she stationed in Dogtown forever ago, Solomon Reed. I have to call him up on a phone older than I am. I really hate talking on the phone, and talking in general. Every single video I've ever made contains more talking than I did the entire rest of the week it was recorded. Solomon tells me to meet him at a basketball game, and when he gets there, he shoves a gun to my ribs and whispers exclusively into my right ear. I can't hear very well from that ear, and when I try to turn my head so I can actually hear what he's saying, he berates me for it. Either way, I meet him at his car and finally come face to face with the volleyball legend himself. On our ride back to the president, we get ambushed by Barghest, which I swear has never happened to me during this quest. There's more of them on the ground floor of the safe house when we get there, but they're quickly dealt with as well before we head up. Reed and Madam President catch up and talk about how they need to get her out of here, giving me some time to do some other stuff until they need me again. In the future, Hans is going to make me do a few gigs to continue the main story anyway, so I opt to do them now. First and foremost, I go to another church. Just like the last church I went to, I leave this one full of corpses. It's a pretty good place to die, I imagine. God would probably be able to sort you out pretty quickly from here. For another, I do much of the same, going into a scav hideout to recover some stuff they stole. I slaughter them all. A rightful end to any scav in this city. I mean, the sand underneath my boots has more value than any scav. Here's a good reason for it too. They took a guy prisoner. I wasn't just here to kill scavs. They had a prototype implant some big company wanted back, and this guy has it in his skull. When I free him and we escape, he declares his lack of intention to go back, so I arrange for him to get the implant removed without having to be sent to his employers. A win for everybody. On the last one, I fight animals instead, stealing a van from them. On my way out, I maybe a little bit accidentally hit one with a car instead of Skippy, but aw, come on, that'll buff right out anyway, so it hardly counts. I go to a bar to meet with Reed in order to track down one of his former teammates. When he shows his face, Alex changes hers and tries to shoot me, but I steal her gun. That could have gone better, but it definitely could have gone worse. She's more willing to listen to the two of us when I mention that we're trying to find the still missing songbird. But Reed and I move on without her for a moment to go invade the latest headquarters of the evil cult known as the Voodoo Boys. I talk to the guys at the door, but they recognize me as the one who killed Brigitte and Placide. Those two stole my kidneys and called Val Kilmer phoned in. I mean, what was I supposed to do, let that slide? Honestly, it's fine by me though. The less voodoo boys in this world, the better. Need I remind you, they'd sell the rest of us to our great AI overlords any day of the week for like $3 and a gift card. They're foaming at the mouth to sell us out. Carpe fuck these guys. Except one. There's still one we need, Slider. Slider's pretty much the only guy who can manipulate my connection with Songbird to contact her. And he does. She tells me to meet her at Colonel Hansen's art gallery, then she fries Slider's brain. A selection of more voodoo boys attack us to avenge him and their friends. And, you know, now is when it suddenly hits me. I've been having a whole lot of difficulty with Skippy aiming for her legs. But what if, bear with me here, what if I just take off my smart link? When they're all dead and Reed relieves me from his company, I go talk to my second favorite Ripper to have my hands changed. It's gone. I can't believe I didn't think of this 10 hours ago. Back to my hands, I call up Mr. Hands for help getting into the art gallery. Apparently his gig outside of Dogtown doesn't count to the 3 he needs done. Damn. Well, that's fine, because it means that in the midst of a rad storm, I get to slaughter the next most recent Voodoo Boys HQ. Well, some bad news though, my smart link is still active. What the fuck? I got rid of it. Okay, whatever, fine. It might not be the Voodoo Boys' fault, but oh, you better believe they feel the consequence of this inconvenience when I absolutely pulverize them. A security robot also tries to face off with me. Ooh, I remember that last time. This son of a bitch was a nightmare. I don't even really remember if that made it in, but he killed me like 30 times. Made worse by me somehow not having any saves from before I entered the room with him. It's still a little tough this time, but he and his robotic squadron are all turned into scrap metal by the only half-decent AI I've ever met. I then immediately put down Milko and the Netwatch agent. Good ending be damned. Back into the Radstorm. Hans is pleased with my work, so he invites me to meet him at the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid. We drink some tea and he gives me a way into the art gallery, which I talk over with Reed and Alex in the back cave. One of the best ways into the gallery is the sewer system underneath. So Alex supplies me with a hazmat suit to withstand the toxic environment with until I'm able to come up into the employees only area of the gallery. I have to take out a few guards with Skippy, and then I have to take out a sniper with not Skippy. Damn. Reed is an extremely sloppy operator. So I also have to take out a ton of Barghest soldiers with the sniper's mounted sniper, failing twice in like 30 seconds. Today is just not my day. Whatever. As long as we remember to wipe the cameras, this won't even be held against us. We swap into our fancy suits and enter the Colonel's gallery to look at paintings. Holy shit. No fucking way. Goro? Is this where he's been instead of meeting me at Wakako's place? Man, he has no idea how much extra work he's made me do. Finally, our missing bird reveals herself. Hey, what sort of bird do you think she is anyway? Robin? Sparrow? Starling? In any case, she finally clues me in on her grand plan. Just like me, she's dying, and there's only one cure. Clifford. See, the bits of Cliffy in my head, only one of several fragments. The rest of them are right here in the hands of the Colonel. If Song were to reunite them, make Clifford whole again, Clifford could save us both. Then we destroy him a second time before he tries to end the world again. But we can't get away from the Colonel until Song gets Clifford's other half. He has it in his main base, so we're gonna need to break in. The best way to do that is for Alex and I to disguise ourselves as his favorite hackers. Wait a minute. There's a gambling element to this? His hackers challenge me to a game of roulette. I've also got to study their mannerisms for, like, secret spy stuff. At the end of our game, I bet it all on red. I'm a fucking idiot because I lost it all. God damn it. I should have kept betting on nothing. Oh, what the hell was I thinking? Let's get out of here. Second stage of setting up impersonating those two hackers is hacking their car, which entails killing more voodoo boys, I'll see them in hell, and connecting to some antennas. Act 3 of imitating the Colonel's hackers involves getting some little sheets of metal in my face. My face. Mine. Same one I had before the operation too. Either way, it's on to Act 4. Hacking the hackers a second time. I track down their car and hop into their trunk. Usually not the sort of place you want to be willingly, but these are unusual circumstances. They get back into the car and I take control, driving them to where Solomon and Alex execute them on the spot. Jeez. I mean, they weren't part of the clergy, sure, but we had to execute them? Yeah, no time for tears. Let's just go get Song already. I disguise myself as Aurora, clothes, face, voice, and all, then drive off to the Colonel's headquarters to perform the biggest con of all. The Colonel's head of security makes me leave Skippy behind. Well, that could be trouble. But then, finally, here they are. Colonel, Songbird, and Clifford. All just within reach. This is it. Put Clifford back together or shut him down. Trust Solomon or trust Songbird. Ah, fuck it. I'm with her. Let's put this thing back together. Before she can catch on, I flash a signal up to Alex and she stabs the holy hell out of the Colonel. Just after, Clifford comes online and starts shutting down the entire base. God help us all. My split with Skippy doesn't last too long. Song chops up some Barghest guys and I get him back from the locker to shoot a few more with. I enjoyed the brief breakup with this gun. Honestly, at this point, any time away from him is time I enjoy. He has his charms and all, but there's only so many times a gun can tell me to put it in before I start to get really uncomfortable. The limit is 1. One time maybe I'd laugh it off, but nah, after that you're pushing it, Skip. Through the drainage tunnels, the three of us escape, slipping away from the Colonel's surviving men and leaving them to be killed by Clifford. Well, Reed's pissed off, says Song and I are gonna be on every watch list in the country. Yeah, okay, we're shutting the fuck up now. Friends, foes, neutral forces, you're looking at and listening to America's latest and greatest terrorist. And where better for a terrorist to go than the airport? I really hope no future employers are watching this. The final act of Songbird's little plan, now that Clifford's back together, she's taking him to the moon, where a doctor is gonna fix us both up, so she says. I try cloak and sandying my way past some guards, but Song and I are technically on the phone and they don't let you sandy on the phone. That would be poor etiquette. Worse yet, I accidentally fall on some guy's head and perform a takedown on him. My bad, okay? I swear this never happens to me. I take the elevator up to the roof with no more incidents though. And after that, I pull Song up here with a fire hose, and she returns Skippy to me. I was so content without him, but I guess he always comes back. We keep progressing through the station, hiding from not just the guards, but now from the Secret Service of the NUSA too. And Reed. And Myers. Secret Service and airport security aren't really on friendly terms. They're too focused on each other to pay me, Song, and Skippy much mind. A few of them try to stop us, and it gets pretty close for a while. But Skippy's only failed me like 60% of the time, and this isn't one of them. You know, I have a little unresolved trauma from the monorail. It took me, what was it, an hour and a half, 2 hours to get through this last time, because these Black Op guys were dicks. Always going invisible and devastating around. I mean, it's okay when I do it, but not when they do it. But I remember it was drastically more difficult and time-consuming to get through this than it was to kill Atom Smasher, so that was all really, really fun. Genuinely, looking back, I have no idea how I had the patience to make those 2 videos. I would not be able to do that today, I don't think. It's not all that bad this time. I'm just kind of running around blasting government soldiers to death. It's like a dream vacation for me, at least until I need to go save Songbird again. Then, a nightmare, because we once again have to call out Clifford's full power to help us out, and I unleash him upon the enemy, dooming them all. You could argue that it's Clifford killing all these guys, not me, but I failed half a century ago, so I'm not gonna argue with the wall. We've got a train to catch instead, then a plane to catch, a plane to the moon. Songbird talks about all her regrets and all the people she's betrayed. Reed, and me. It's in this moment that she finally clears things up. She needed the fragments of Clifford in my head to complete the core, sure, to save herself, but there was no saving me. There never was. Could have just told me, you know. I mean, I would have helped her anyway. Me, I failed the rung a long time ago. I accepted that. But I just thought, for a second, I thought, It doesn't matter. We walk out of the shuttle and out comes none other than Reed. Orders me to hand her over. I have to think about it. I really do. I mean, I'm no fan of Myers, but maybe Reed really is our best chance now. Best chance for both of us. So I hand her over to him. Sorry, wish we could have gone to the moon together. I really do. But I need Clifford out of my head. I watch as Reed takes her off and flies off to save her life, and hopefully mine too. Sometime a bit later, we meet again, out at a gas station. You know, if it weren't for one particular gas station, my channel wouldn't even exist. But that's a long story. A long parable, you could say. I mean, you don't have to, but I'm just putting the option out there. Anyway, what he says sums up to, V, the government owes you a huge apology. Oh, and we're also gonna expunge all those charges on your record. Now I've just gotta wait a day to meet him somewhere to get along with saving my life. His crew of doctors come pick me up from the roof of Misty's place, and they fly me off to DC and knock me out cold. A few days, weeks, years later, I wake up in bed. Reed tells me that Songbird's doing just fine these days, actually, mostly. But all of my implants had to be deactivated for me to live. I mean, that's fine, really. I'm alive, so I'm fine with that. Reed invites me to join the agency for real. I mean, I thought this would be a nice little change from shooting up scav haunts, but spying? Nah, it ain't for me. I'll save the super villains for the super agents and concentrate on the super naps from here on out, thank you very much. Normally I'd give all my loved ones a hint about what's going on, but I don't really have those this time around. It's kind of just Vic going for me right now. Oh, and Skippy? It's like he never existed. He was probably turned into call center software, or a GPS for skateboards. So I take a flight back to LS to see him once again in a no-way car right to his clinic. We talk for a bit, but he's a busy guy, so I should get going. Right out the door, 2 guys mug me. Oh yeah, pick on the coma patient, you dicks. No matter. I keep walking. Somewhere. Gotta figure out a new life for myself. But until then, I fade into the crowd and do not beat Cyberpunk 2077 with only Skippy. But at least I beat it. I just hope my gorgeous hair grows back.